Yes, it is time again. Time for the Purple Menace podcast. Geoff Craig here again. They keep letting me come back. Along with my co-hosts, Billy Wessels, Matt Jennings. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
It's a good day. It's a Tuesday. It's, another game week. It's going to be fun.
We got the mics going up on a Tuesday.
Is that
not good? Is that not a thing kids say?
I mean,
I've never heard
it.
The levels going up on a Tuesday?
I mean, it's the club going up on a Tuesday.
I don't club. I don't know what that even is. You don't know what that is either, Matthew.
What's the difference between a club and a bar?
Club, there has to be dancing. Is my understanding.
A club. I mean, I immediately went to like crowbars versus just a wooden club. That's how not cool I am.
You went Anchorman?
Yeah, not Anchor Lady. The club was more of a Bam Bam weapon from the Flintstones, and the bar is a test for lawyers.
So TCU football.
After that horrible intro, let's talk about...
Welcome back to the Purple Menace podcast, everybody. Geoff Craig here. Okay, let's talk about...
restart.
No, that is not a real restart.
Right.
We like to keep this thing going because we're real people. We're real people doing real things.
Some of us make real bad jokes.
Some of us do. Yeah. That go for it's going to be stuck in my head forever.
As it should be. It doesn't need to go for anywhere else.
Good news is there aren't any more teams on the schedule that you can do that with. You can't Red Raider it.
I'm surprised you didn't say that Trayvon Howard laid the lumber to those jacks.
I did. I said it in a tweet about Denzel Johnson, how he took him to the woodshed and I definitely used lay the lumber at least once, probably multiple.
You should have said he laid the lumber
because Denzel Johnson had a huge. No, we don't have any jacks on the team. He didn't have a good.
He said he really did.
Yeah,
I was agreeing with you.
Like Denzel Johnson really did have a huge game, and I really did use that in the tweet.
I
made one really bad tweet. I don't remember what it was though. Matt was not happy about it.
Oh no, it wasn't a tweet. It was a text that you sent me.
Nope, we're not talking about that.
We're not talking about it because it was probably the most offensive joke I've ever heard in my life.
Okay, well, speaking of offensive,
TCU to ask me in person what that joke was.
TCU playing SMU this week, so we're going to talk TCU's recap of SFA when we come back after the break. More injuries have hit this team. We'll talk about that. Then we're going to talk a little SMU, give you a quick preview, and then we've got a guest, Billy.
Yeah,
who's our guest?
He just texted me. I was looking at Adam the Bard Grosbard of SMU's rivals site.
Was that Pony Pride?
Pony Hill, the Hilltop Digest, or we should probably know this.
We should probably know this,
but leave all this in the intro. It's fun. It's fun to sort of be.
It's the Hill Topics,
which is real punny.
The rivals site is called the Hill Topics.
They just changed it last year.
Oh, okay. So it was Pony Pride.
Yeah, they just changed it last year. When I first started with Rivals,
that is so stupid.
Fun fact: when I first started with Rivals, good old Armin Williams was the fan. I believe is where he was at.
Yeah, my buddy Armin.
Yeah, so he was the publisher of the Pony Pride site, and he gave me my first gig with Rivals. Was actually covering SMU fall practice for a couple weeks there before their students came back. So I covered them a couple weeks. So I got to interview guys like Cole Beasley, who's now a Cowboy. Not a huge fan of Cole Beasley. I got to talk to June Jones like every day, which was insane to me. Now, after covering TCU when I was in college and now covering TCU again, the fact they had every day some kind of media availability just blew my mind. But different levels of programs.
But yeah, they didn't really do too much with that.
No, I mean they're begging for attention, whereas TCU's sort of trying to hide a lot of things because you're number 3 or 4 in the country. You got a chance to win a national title.
Yeah, and then after our interview, we'll have everybody's favorite segment, prediction time.
Yep, we can say some outlandish things.
Billy, you won last week.
I won?
You won prediction time.
You were closest
on
score. You were closest on score and on the player of the game.
And on player.
Yeah,
because you predicted a 66-9.
Yep.
And you said Boykin would score 6 touchdowns. He had 4.
Yep.
And 77. So
that's
Billy
pretty
wins.
good. I think I win. Yeah, I'll take the W.
Points. All right, coming up after the break, we're going to break down TCU versus SFA and talk about yet another devastating injury to the Horned Frogs. Right here on the Purple Menace podcast.
Multiple sclerosis destroys connection, so it's only fitting that connection would be its greatest enemy, because connection takes away MS's ability to isolate. And as more connections form, we end up with more knowledge, more resources, more understanding, more ideas, and more hope. And then, the connections we make become more powerful than the connections MS destroys. MS kills connection. Connection kills MS. Give what you know at msconnection.org.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Purple Menace podcast. Geoff Craig, Billy Wessels, Matt Jennings. It's time to start talking about last week's game. TCU jumped right back into their winning ways. It was good to see the offense going.
They never really left.
Well,
they never left the winning ways, but it was a more convincing win.
Back to the way we expected to see the offense is what I meant. They 70 points, 70-7 over SFA. Offense looked pretty good. A little worried at first with a 3-and-out, but 2 drops on that drive. So,
and the second play of that, Kobe Liston goes open for an all the yards touchdown. I don't know if you saw that part of the field. There was no one with Kobe. How many yards it was? I think it was 80, between 75 and 85. No one went with him on the far side of the field. But whatever, they rebounded after that, and they scored on I think 6 straight drives, 5 straight drives after that.
Yeah.
Scored touchdowns on either 5 or 6 straight drives after that to just kind of get back into the groove.
And Liston had a pretty good game.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not like he missed for lacking anything.
No. Colby had a tremendous game.
He had a tremendous half.
He really did.
6 catches, 142.
He was over 100 yards by
halftime.
By the end of the first quarter. Yeah, had a 51-yarder on the team's second drive and a 60-yard touchdown a couple drives later. So, I mean, that was really good for them to see, given the fact that he was really kind of kept in check against Minnesota. And so, and that's what really kind of makes the offense dynamic, is when they're able to eat up huge chunks of yardage all at once with big plays.
Yeah, and when you can make those short completions to Sean Nixon, Kavonte Turpin, Funky Colts Lanina.
Yeah.
Those make the safeties have to play up, because they can dink and dunk you to death and run up the middle, and then you see Liston burn somebody. The defenses are just like, what do you want me to do? Like, what am I supposed to do? If we play up, we get beat over the top, and if we play back, they're just gonna keep chipping away. So,
is that a Red Hot Chili Pepper song?
Chip it away now. I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I would have believed you if you would have just sung that and said, "Oh yeah, it's Chip It Away," because that's the extent of my knowledge about the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
You're also like 7 years old, Matt. But
I mean, I really like, I have Danny California and Tell Me Baby and
you have all the old stuff.
And Snow on my
all the classics.
You have all the post-heroin Red Hot Chili Peppers.
That's,
man. They were their best when they were on Smack.
Did you know that Anthony Kiedis was Sylvester Stallone's son in Over the Top?
I don't know who that. I know who Sylvester Stallone is. I don't even
Over
know.
the Top is a movie about arm wrestling.
I don't know what any of those words mean.
No, okay, that reference even lost on me. I know a lot of things.
Over the Top.
But Over the Top is also describes his offense. How TCU can go over the top with Kobe Listonby and then under. See, it all makes sense.
It all comes back.
It all
together.
comes around.
Yes, Boykin looked a lot better this week. He still missed a couple of throws. It was Sean Nixon down the middle. Now, I don't know if Nixon mistimed his jump on that one as well. I mean, you got
Nixon
a guy who's a running back.
If you watch on that play, Nixon actually kind of got held up by the linebacker and kind of twisted around, and so where his route was kind of got thrown off, his timing kind of got thrown off, and then they end up scoring, I think, within the next 2 plays after that. So it was kind of no harm, no foul, but you're right. There's still some kinks being worked out with the offense, but if you still have kinks being worked out and you're putting up 70, admittedly against an FCS team, you're doing okay. I'd like to see them run the ball more effectively going forward. Aaron Green averaged, I think it was 40 yards a carry. Like, I mean, he was fine. It was
5 for 20, 2 touchdowns.
5 for 20 and 2 touchdowns, obviously. So they were doing okay. But Travorce Johnson had 71 yards, and Colton Christensen in there, rumbling for first downs late in the game, got a touchdown. Good for him. He was actually in my sports psych class last semester, and he's a good guy. So good for him.
I like to see walk-ons. I like to see walk-ons score touchdowns.
Yeah, exactly. And so that was fun. I think what's going to make this offense complete and be able to do what it wants to do is be able to kind of run the ball consistently downhill with Aaron Green. And once they're able to do that, and they've got another few weeks to really kind of perfect that, then they'll be okay. It's so dictated though by how the defense plays them.
Yeah, and I'm expecting this week to be one of those games where I think you probably will see a little more up-the-gut Aaron Green, because SMU's linebackers, they're a couple of them are experienced. Like, I was really surprised to see that Jonathan Yenga was already a senior. Like, I remember that kid being a true freshman playing for them. But they're not big linebackers. They're playing a 4-3. They're not big. I'm not sure how fast they are either. And so this is going to be a good test for the offensive line for TCU to come out here and just maul some guys and really set the tone going into conference that, yes, we can run the ball as well. We've seen the timing with Boykin. He's getting the timing down. Emmanuel Porter made some great catches. The fades on Saturday looked fantastic.
They're working, yeah.
The fades are working. It helps when you've got 6'4" guys to throw to, like Doxson, Porter, Story. And so I think the red zone offense was definitely upgraded this past week. But, SMU, a lot of changes on their side, and it's going to be a fun one here at the Carter, 7 o'clock. Now, injuries again.
Rearing their ugly head.
We're
just
already
continuously.
We're already down 2 linebackers, and now we lose our starting weak safety, Kenny Iloka, for the season.
Yes.
Torn ACL.
And it's just it's a pain. It's absolutely it's terrible to see this happen for a guy, especially for Iloka, a guy who had kind of waited his turn, and really probably one of the better athletes on the team and was going to get a chance to really make an impact this year. And so it really, really sucks for him. And it, now whoever starts at free safety on Saturday in all likelihood will be the 10th player for TCU to make his first start on defense for the season, which is an insane stat in and of itself.
3 games into the season.
Actually, no, it'll be 11 because Traven Howard will be making because he didn't start this past week, will be making his first start on Saturday, which we can talk about that a little bit at some point. But Traven Howard, for as much as we were scared for the linebacker injuries and because you lose Mike Freeze for the season, in all likelihood, and you do lose Sammy Douglas for the season, Traven Howard and Montrell Wilson looked good on Saturday. Again, admittedly, like how much can you garner from a game against an FCS opponent where you put up 70 points and starters don't play past midway through the third quarter? But goodness gracious, I mean, they were flying around doing everything that you could have asked them to do, especially as 2 guys who were playing safety in the summer. And now Traven Howard has been playing linebacker for a week.
They played no linebacker in high school either. They were all safeties in high school coming over here, and now they're thrust into playing linebacker. Oh, and by the way, in a week and a half, they start Big 12 play against they start SMU, who's got a pretty solid offense, and Texas Tech, a great offense. And then you get Texas, who's they're
we don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, they're just the worst on offense. This actually, we're trying to get a little more Twitter involvement. On the way over here, I got a tweet from Sean McDermott at @SeanP_McD asking how concerned are we about all the losses to the defense. I'm assuming that implies mostly injuries. I am still a little bit concerned. I know if we played nothing but SFA, I'd feel better about it. But going into this stretch where you play a couple really good offenses a couple weeks and getting into Big 12 play, I'm still concerned about the inexperience that they're going to have, especially at that linebacker and the safety position.
I feel less worried after the SFA game, just based on what I saw from Chris Bradley and then Tipa Galea. Tipa is a 225-pound end, but he was way out wide. He reminded me of Jerry Hughes in the way that he was way out wide and just a burst off the line, coming in flying. So I think I got a little more. Aaron Curry's playing a little better as well. We're going to get Davion Pearson back probably for a little bit this week, and then hopefully 80-90% Davion for Tech. But the defensive line, I think, after SMU, you're going to play a lot more spread offenses, which for this defense, it may be kind of beneficial having linebackers that have safety backgrounds because pass coverage, they're going to be more in tune with pass coverage, and then you've got 4 guys on the line that can rush the passer, and we know they can rush the passer, and they're going to get plenty of opportunities. Texas Tech's going to run the ball 12 times. Max.
Right.
They're going to have Mahomes throw 85 passes. He'll complete 62 of them for 590 yards, and he'll throw 3 picks and 6 touchdowns.
7 points.
Yeah.
Okay.
And 6. Well, that's a lot of touchdowns. That's a big disparity there.
I think score.
Geoff is closer than Billy is, but that's what I think. But no, going back to the safety position for just a second, because I agree. I think the smaller linebackers is kind of the opposite of what you were doing last year. Paul Dawson and Marcus Mallett, bigger guys, maybe not quite as fast. fast. You're smaller, but you're more athletic and you're faster at that position. But going forward, you do have kind of a quandary at that safety position because you had Michael Downing, who's a walk-on and played well on Saturday. Let's give him credit for that.
Had a pick.
He did have a pick, and so, but he's on the depth chart as a starter. But I'd be surprised if he started. But do you move Derek Kindred to weak safety, and then Nick Orr to free, and then who steps up in that second corner spot? Because Nick Orr has been playing well, and so it's not so much each individual thing. It's just kind of the continuous domino effect. Because with Mike Freeze and Sammy Douglas gone, Traven Howard can't be a backup at safety really because now he has to start at linebacker. And with Mike Tu'ua out for for an unspecified reason from the team, then you have Terrell Lathan and Josh Carraway taking on more of a role. You have James McFarland out with a toe injury, and so it's not so much that the guys immediately behind them can't play, but it's just the domino effect of this is affecting your depth, every other position on the defense, and your depth on special teams, which is something Gary Patterson talked about on Saturday. You're just rolling out a ton of freshmen on special teams, which in big games and big moments, that can hurt you because they haven't been in that situation before, and they're more likely to make a mistake, and it's gonna and give up a big play that's gonna cost you and maybe cost you a game somewhere down the line.
Now, one good thing about playing all those freshmen on special teams was there wasn't any penalties. We didn't have any holding penalty. We didn't see Turpin take one back and then have it called back because of a penalty.
We saw him basically get tackled by Ty Summers. I was going
to say there was two punt returns where with better blocking, one of them was Michael Downing, the other one was Ty Summers. If they block better, he's gone. And, I mean, right after it happened, he goes down like Patterson's yelling at the lead blocker on the play because that's two that he could have housed. But I feel good I feel a lot better about the special teams this week, other than I don't know what's going on with Ethan Perry. It's like the first punt of every game.
He's had a couple shanks that have been less than ideal. Give SFA the ball in TCU territory, like at the 35, if I'm not mistaken, on their first drive of the game. So, give him a few more drives in another game or two to kind of get things worked out because he's been so consistent for you over the last few years. But Jonathan Song, looked good in his limited kickoff duty late in that game, and so he's Perry's backup as well, and so at some point maybe he's a guy who gets run there too. Also, Turpin, probably expect him to get some more run this week with Des White maybe injured, maybe out. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that as well.
Yep. So TCU injuries bite them again. Next man up. That's the way it goes. Next man up.
That's the new motto instead of prove them right.
I think it's
just going to be next man up. From
next man
I'm
going
to cross out the thing on top of the pyramid.
The pyramid. Move it on.
Yeah. So TCU SMU Saturday, 7:00 right here. Protect the Carter. Be out there. It's the whiteout game, so make sure you wear your fancy white polos or white T-shirts, white hats, white shoes, white socks. It sounds kind of racist, but
with TCU, there's going to be a lot of white.
There's a blackout game too.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's on Halloween.
Is it Halloween?
It's the West Virginia game, if I'm not mistaken.
Thursday. But the last week's game was a purple out, and they wore gray uniforms. So,
but it was Heroes Day.
It was.
So that's how the camo ties in. Whatever. TCU, SMU, 7:00. Be at the Carter or be square. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk SMU right here on the Purple Menace podcast.
Have you heard the buzz about West Nile virus? Protect yourself and your family from the mosquito bites that spread the virus. When you go outside, use mosquito repellent-containing DEET. When possible, wear long-sleeve shirts and pants. And remove standing water around your home where mosquitoes breed. Anyone can become infected, but if you're over 50, you're at higher risk for severe disease or even death from West Nile virus. Remember, the best defense comes from things you can do yourself. Fight the bite. Tell mosquitoes to buzz off.
Welcome back to the Purple Menace podcast. Geoff Craig, Billy Wessels, Matt Jennings. We're back. It's time to talk a little SMU, and we got a special guest on the line over from, what was it, Billy?
Hill Topics.
The Hill Topics.
The Hill Topics. See, I still want to call it Pony Pride. But we got a special guest. Adam, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, tell us a little bit about yourself, and maybe we can get you some people that want to deal with SMU, and you can give them a little pub before we start talking SMU.
Well, I work for Rivals.com's SMU page, thehilltopics.com. I'm the publisher over there, and we got a great staff. Be sure to check it out if you want some more SMU info.
Did y'all had like a fan vote last year, right, for the new name, or did you come up with that on your own? I was trying to remember what the story was with that.
That was something I worked on with the Rivals team.
Okay.
What was wrong with Pony Pride?
Just needed to move on. I had just taken over as the publisher and wanted to, rebrand.
No, I got you.
The Adam Grosbard era, the Chad Morris era. A lot of big things happened over at SMU. So, I mean, that's kind of a good play.
I think I'm a little lower on that list, but I appreciate it.
Is that a short joke at yourself, or was that a...
Could be.
But no, how are things going this year? I know they got the win last week against UNT, and they played Baylor tough. How are things going over there this year?
It's been going pretty good. The team's showing a lot of progress. They responded really well after the Baylor loss. They played better in the Baylor loss than I think anyone expected SMU to in the first half. They're only down 28-21 at halftime and had a very good chance at tying the game or at least kicking a field goal there at the end of the second quarter before Matt Davis made a little mental mistake. He took a sack on third down without any timeouts, and they didn't get the chance to kick the ball. That play kind of sums up where SMU's at this point. They do a lot of things right, but they're still learning. They're still, they still sometimes shoot themselves in the foot, but they're learning from most of these mistakes, and the improvement was there to see against UNT. The team looked much better in the second half. Against UNT, they were still making some mistakes that left some points out there on the field for the team. But overall, there's a lot of signs of improvement over here at SMU.
Yeah, let's talk about Matt Davis. You touched on him there for just a second, but dealt with that mistake at the end of the half. Could have tied the game, but they're not in that game without the way he's been playing, and he's really seems to have really kind of come into his own in this new Chad Morris offense.
He really is. What a lot of people forget is that when Matt Davis was being recruited, he was recruited by Chad Morris when Chad Morris was the offensive coordinator at Clemson. So the two of them have a relationship, and there's a natural fit into Morris's spread offense for Davis. He's able to run the ball well. He's able to throw the ball deep a lot better than we saw him do last year, a lot of which has to do with improvements in the offensive line for SMU. Davis has a lot more time to go through his natural reads. But when things do break down, he's able to scramble really well, make a lot of big plays with his feet, and gain some good yards. So he presents some challenges, not too unlike Mr. Boykin over there.
Now, speaking of Boykin, I wanted to ask you, people are starting to – they've known for a while what a Gary Patterson defense is like, but now year two of this offense, tell me, what about SMU's defense is going to be able to slow down this high-powered TCU offense?
It's going to be tough. SMU's defense really struggled against Baylor, and Chad Morris today at media availability talked about how, even though they played Baylor, it didn't really help when, their look at Baylor was watching Baylor run past the defense. There's going to be a lot of issues there with the speed at the receivers is going to cause a lot of issues for SMU's secondary. If there's going to be anything that SMU can do is they're going to want to make Boykin into a runner. If Boykin's a runner, then the defensive line is doing its job. And at that point, they kind of have to take the results as they come. But the passing game is going to be a real struggle for SMU's defense all day on Saturday.
Man, I'm looking through the SMU roster now. I'm just blown away by a lot of the local talent. I know Chad Morris brought in one of DeSoto's coaches to be on his coaching staff. And you see a guy like I'm looking at Kevin Thomas in the depth chart. He's a DeSoto guy. But a couple of the young receivers that I like a lot as recruits when they were going through the recruiting process that TCU was looking at. The big one that jumps out is Cortland Sutton. I saw him play a lot in high school. Absolutely love the kid. Talked to him a lot. What have you seen out of him? He's had a big first couple games.
Sutton's been a lot of fun to cover this year. He clearly has the confidence that you need as a number one receiver. And he's got the right attitude. After the Baylor game, he was breaking down his 2 touchdowns, and he said he enjoyed the second one more because he caught the ball within the 10-yard line, and he says that his job as a receiver is if he catches the ball within the 10 to score. Like, he believes that it's his job, no matter what, if he catches the ball down there, he's got to get to the end zone and not leave anything to chance. So he's got the exact attitude that you want out of a number one receiver. He's got the talent. Chad Morris was just talking today about how Cortland doesn't even know how good he can be. So watching him grow with Matt Davis has been a lot of fun this year, and it's going to be fun to watch them go next year, too, when they both have a little more experience in the offense.
All right, well, we're wrapping up the segment here. It's good to have you on. Would you like to give us a prediction for the game on Saturday?
Oh, I think that's a TCU win, especially in the hostile environment. I would say SMU does similar to how it did against Baylor, keeps it close through the first half, and then things will probably, TCU's depth and athleticism is going to push them ahead in the third quarter there.
All right, Adam, thanks for coming on the Purple Menace podcast with us. If you want to throw out your Twitter and everything so you can maybe gather one or two more followers from us.
All right. Thanks, guys. My Twitter is just my name, at Adam Grosbard, Grosbard. And see you guys on Saturday.
See you
Sounds
then,
good.
Adam. Thanks for coming on.
All right, guys. That was good. It was good to have somebody from the other side talking with us about everything.
He knows a lot. He's really, like I told you earlier, again, this is going to be another short joke at Adam. He is relatively short, and he has 100% head, because that is 100% brain in that body. He is so smart and so talented what he's doing over there, and I'm excited to see him again on Saturday. And again, for real, if you get a chance to see him in person, make him rap for you. He's really good.
I will do my best. I'll probably just tweet some stuff at him, and maybe just tweet some instrumentals and see if he'll give us a freestyle.
Dude, that'd be so good.
Maybe he can give us a Purple Menace intro or something.
I'd be about that life.
Yeah. All right, so that's going to wrap up the SMU segment. Thanks again to Adam Grosbard for joining us here on the Purple Menace podcast. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk a little bit about some recruits in TCU's future here on the Purple Menace podcast.
5 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's disease, and another 16 million husbands, wives, children, and friends are caregivers. But the right foods may help you prevent it. Vegetables, fruits, whole grains, beans, the same foods that fight diabetes and heart disease can also keep your brain strong and memory sharp. Let's eat right to fight Alzheimer's. Visit eattofightalzheimers.org.
Welcome back to the Purple Menace podcast. Geoff Craig and Billy Wessels. We're going to talk recruiting now. Now, we've seen a lot of injuries. We've seen what Coach Patterson does in this defense with athletes. Mm-hmm. He takes guys that are quarterbacks. He takes running backs, whatever, safeties, changes positions. So one of the topics I wanted to talk about, a couple players that maybe you'd like to talk about, a couple of athletes that are commits for this upcoming class for TCU, Derek King and Dylan Thomas.
Yeah, you mentioned guys that play quarterback, and those are two guys that play quarterback for their high schools. Derek King over at Manville is a state title contender, and then you got Dylan Thomas just down the road over there at Paschal. And he's the more polished passer is probably going to be Derek, but he's got more weapons to deal with than Dylan does. Dylan's a little bigger, a little longer than Derek is. Derek will feel better. And both guys are probably going to come in as receivers, though, compared to what they're playing quarterback in high school. A little smaller, probably a little undersized, but they're speedy. They're quick. Dylan Thomas last week ran for 3 touchdowns, 170 yards at the quarterback position because he's
nice.
just pretty solid. That was against Fort Worth North side, even just kind of, or Dallas Wilson rather. You can just pick a 4 at the Dallas school and he's gonna run up the score against those guys. But he's by far the best player on that team, and the cool thing about that is, and GB's done this for years. He takes the kid who's the best player on their team, and he fits in well. It's almost like an all-star team from Little League. Like it's like the best player from your team in your city, and just go on to Williamsport or whatever. It's kind of like what he's doing here at TCU. Take the best player from these small town teams, like KT Turpin or Cavante Turpin. He's the best player in that small town Louisiana team, and he's come here and he's already just shining in his second game.
I liked it when you said Louisiana. You got real Louisiana.
I got real Louisiana on that draw. Now I'll tell you what, I'm down the bayou where I come from. We like the gumbo, we like the etouffee, and we like our football. We like our football fast, we like it strong, like KT Turpin. That's probably the best.
That was the best.
That's the best fanboy Willie Wessels I've ever done. That's what that character's name is now, Fanboy Willie.
I think you should do predictions as Fanboat Willie from now on.
Fanboy Willie from now on. From the bayou to your house. I don't know. But so Derek King, another guy, like I said, probably more of a polished passer anyways than Thomas is. Manville had a week off last week, but the week before carried his team to a win against Galena Park North Shore, another state title contender.
I was going to say, I'm familiar with Galena Park.
Yeah, they beat him, I think it was 45-42 or 44-41. It was a one-possession game in the 40s. And he threw for 3 touchdowns, ran for 2 more. And they also had I think it was either a pick 6 or fumble return for 99 yards in the last 5 minutes to steal the win against that team. But Derek King had a really good game there, whereas Dylan Thomas is kind of the best player on the field in Fort Worth and in that small district that he's in right now. So 2 great guys that'll come in, and I think will come in and play receiver. The fear is Derek King really, really wants to play quarterback, so he could have another possibly Cam Eccles-Looper situation there where he comes in, tries out for a year or 2, maybe struggles to get on the field. I think he's got the explosiveness and the quickness to get on the field early, but if he can't get on the field in the first couple of years, maybe he goes somewhere smaller to try and play quarterback. But I think he will. He's a competitor. Like if he can be competitive and be a contributor for this team, I think he'll stick around. And I think these 2 guys can be explosive enough to really make a difference for TCU.
Fantastic. I always like to hear, and I like to hear about the Fort Worth kids staying in Fort Worth, so I'm happy about Dylan Thomas. But we were just talking last week with BJ about the Houston connection, and Manville's right outside of there. So you see 2 guys we're talking about this week are a guy right literally down the street from us.
Like half a mile to a mile from campus.
Yeah. And then another guy.
He drives one of the buses for the people that park at Pascal. He drives it over here.
No, he doesn't.
No, he does not. I'm joking.
I'm pretty sure he's at the games.
He is. And they actually play, I think, at 2:00 over at Farrington Field Saturday. So you want a doubleheader. I don't remember who Pascal's playing, but I think I saw on the schedule they play at 2:00 over at Farrington Field, which is just down the road on University. And then you can go check out him, check that Future Frog out, and then come back down the road for the 7:00 kickoff for TCU SMU.
And they're probably going to have shuttles going straight from Farrington to TCU.
I'm sure that's a place they park.
Get your parking spot there, go see the high school game, see a guy you're going to see next year, get a little sneak peek at Dylan Thomas. Hey,
we just made your Saturday for you. You're welcome, Fort Worth.
Oh, and you should probably, I would recommend going by Montgomery Street, getting some Dairy Queen first.
Okay, fair.
Just because.
Why not the new Dairy Queen over in our neck of the woods, over in Benbrook?
Because it's all the way over in Benbrook.
But it's really nice. I drove by the night, but the line was to the street. People love their DQ.
Oh, yeah.
DQ. That's what I like about Texas. Sponsored by Dairy Queen. What's your favorite Blizzard?
Reese's.
Reese's?
Yeah.
I'm a Heath Bar guy myself.
Heath Bar's good, but it's always stuck in the teeth, though.
That's my mom's favorite. Like, I don't know. She loves Heath Bar, so I've found myself the rare occasion I go to a venue with iced goods, I get Heath Bar.
The best Blizzard I ever had was Kit Kat, and they only had it for like a temporary time. But Kit Kat
I bet that'd be real good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So, all right, recruiting and Dairy Queen. We're recruiting Dairy Queen to be a sponsor.
We're a well-balanced diet of football and fun.
We are. All right, we'll be right back after this with more Purple Menace podcast.
Type 2 diabetes is a serious chronic health threat in America. It affects tens of millions of people. Many people who have the disease don't know it. Diabetes can cause health problems such as heart disease, strokes, amputations, and blindness. Talk to your doctor, get screened if you're at risk, and learn how to avoid becoming one of the millions of new cases of diabetes each year. You can help prevent type 2 diabetes. A message from CDC and HHS.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Purple Menace podcast. Geoff Craig, Billy Wessels, Matt Jennings, here again doing it. It's time to do predictions. Now, last week, Billy, you won the whole dang thing.
Yeah, I mean, I was closest. I'd say without going over, but I went over. In, I guess, the Boykin stats.
We're not doing Price is Right rules on this, okay?
Why not? Everything should be Price is Right
Okay,
rules.
if it's Price is Right rules, then I win.
No, then I win.
Nope, you lost.
No.
You just said you wanted to change it. All right, Billy is no longer the winner.
No. Roddy, come back to life and save me.
Okay, going forward, we're going to go Price is Right rules.
So you can't bust?
You cannot bust. If you go over on the score or on your player of the game prediction, you're automatically out.
Wow, that's
so I got to be
a really harsh rule.
No,
this is a rough rule.
No, forget that. We got to be reasonable now. This is the best fun of this. The most fun part about this.
The bestest part
is just that we can just make up outlandish things and see if they happen.
Because if we went by Price is Right rules, BJ was way off.
Yeah,
because he said Aaron Green was going to have 205 yards.
Yeah.
He was close on touchdowns.
He was close on touchdowns.
He did have 2, but okay. TCU, SMU, the game is here.
The skillet.
The iron skillet is on the line. And we know SMU gets geared up for these games.
They've stunned the Frogs a couple times in the last decade. And just
Here's what I can tell you about those games. I was not in attendance.
Okay.
That's all I can tell you.
All right.
The last 2 times SMU's beaten TCU, I have not been here. I will be here for this.
Well,
So
then
guarantees a
So
victory.
you're saying
Then there you go.
Well, why even bother playing it?
it's a knock on
Jeff's
the wood a
here.
little bit.
They're playing it just to get the freshman experience. That's why they're playing it.
Just to see what Turpin can do this week.
It's a glorified scrimmage. Yeah, we're
Would
going
you
to
say
knock
it's
on wood a little bit.
turpentine?
Yeah, I've used that joke
It is
a lot.
Turpin time.
Yeah, Turpin time.
All right, so let's go through it then.
All
Billy,
right,
do you want to go ahead and
Yeah, you're the reigning
You're reigning
champion.
champ, so go ahead and give us
the
a-
reigning champion. Well, I'm just going to look and see what Baylor did to SMU and do better than that. So Baylor beat them 56-21. I will say TCU wins 60-17. And like Adam said, I bet it's something like 14-14 after the first quarter. I bet it's kind of a weird first quarter, and then TCU kind of calms down and just kind of run away with it after that. I'll take player of the game. I'm gonna go defensive. I'm gonna go defensive here. I am gonna say young Ranathan Tejada
Ooh.
gets himself 2 picks. House is one of them.
Oh my! Okay.
Yeah, it's outlandish. Come on, 2 picks. House is one of them, and let's say 3 pass breakups as well.
Okay.
he has a monster game.
There you go.
Okay, Matt,
Line
you're
it up
up.
against Cortland Sutton.
I know.
So we'll see.
He's got to put on a clinic for the young guy.
He's got to do it. So I'll go. I won't go quite as much. I think TCU will kind of let up once if they're able to get in the game. If they're able to get the game in hand late. So I think it'll be closer to like a 52-14 game. I'll say that. I think TCU's defense will come through and will be just fine against a not as athletic SMU squad. I'm gonna go back to the same guy I picked for my player of the week last week because I picked Colby Listenby in week 1 and he waited till week 2 to explode. So last week I picked Josh Dotson, so I think he's due for a big game. So I'm gonna go Josh Dotson with 5 catches for 114 yards and a touchdown.
That's your player of the game? A guy with 1 touchdown?
Well, I mean, they're going to
guess I did the
spread
same
but
thing,
they
but-
spread the ball out a lot this past week, so I think they're going to keep doing
I
that.
think it's going to be tough to win player of the game with just 114 yards and a touchdown.
I think he'll have the most yards, and he'll have, like, it won't show up in the box
Like
score, but he'll be a
6
guy
guys,
like
at
who's
least
as
70 yards.
consistent over the course of the game. Who like when you watch the game, you say, okay, Josh Dotson has been the biggest contributor to this team's success, and that's
All
what
right.
I think happens.
I look forward to seeing that.
Okay. All right. Well, it's my turn again. Let's see. Last year was 56-0. And I think SMU is a little bit better. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say that this year TCU is going to win 56-7.
Wow.
SMU scores the first touchdown of the game after TCU goes 3 and out. And
Cortland
a shank
Sutton,
punt,
80 yards.
Shank punt by Ethan Perry gives SMU great field position. They take the lead, and then that really fires Gary up, really fires the defense up, and they shut him down the rest of the game. My player of the game is going to be Derek Kindred, who I think TCU's line will make Matt Davis scramble, which will be the worst thing he does in this game because Peanut will be ready, and there will be peanut butter left of Matt Davis when this thing is over.
That's
Derek Kindred,
Yep.
Billy, you have no room to
I-
to make fun of someone else for their
No,
puns.
I'm not-
Jeff, finish your prediction.
That's
Jeff.
not a pun.
9
That's
tackles.
That's a recipe.
Yeah, it's a recipe for disaster for SMU. 9 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, 1 sack for Derek Kindred.
Oh, yeah, bring him on the
Because
on
he's
the
going to be
blitz,
lined
okay.
up at weak safety for some of this game.
All right,
He's going
all
to
right.
float around.
Okay.
He's going to float around.
I see you.
That peanut butter floaty.
I don't know what a peanut butter floaty is. Is that like a smoothie that you can get?
It's at Smoothie King right now.
Oh, goodness.
Watch out for that peanut butter floaty. 56-7 TCU. That's it.
I think we'd sign up for all of those, any and all of those results right now.
All right. If you have for your prediction, Twitter at TCU Rivals. Give us your prediction.
Underscore rivals.
TCU underscore rivals. Yeah.
Rivals. If you win, if you pick the correct score, I will give you a high five. In
I
person.
Man, that's a
That's valuable commodity.
That is.
He's got that Howie Mandel disorder where he doesn't like to touch people's hands.
The Howie Mandel disorder.
well, yeah, because he doesn't like to.
He's a germaphobe. I don't think it's a disorder
Could
per
have
se.
just said germaphobe, but you had to give it Howie Mandel
yeah,
disorder.
it's like Lou Gehrig disease. It's not.
That's
it's
true.
not- it's more credible. It's got a celebrity endorsement.
Tommy John surgery.
Exactly. I just like the idea of them being called celebrity endorsements, by the way.
Endorsements for illnesses, yeah.
Yeah, Howie Mandel disease. All right, well, that's going to wrap up the show. Billy, throw out your Twitter so people can...
At Billy Wessels, at TCU_Rivals. That snark you see during the game is mostly me. And my snark about the rankings is still real. I'm so tired of the rankings.
I don't think they should have rankings until after week 8.
There's no point in them existing at all until December. They don't matter because you
guys know the coaches' trophy still gets given out at the end of the year.
I did not know
and it's
that.
entirely separate. So Florida State won the coaches' trophy, like the Crystal Football. Florida State won the coaches' trophy last year because they were the number 1 team in the coaches' poll at the end of the year.
That is
it
the
meant
dumbest
nothing.
thing I've ever heard.
Wait, are you serious right now?
I kid you not.
Wow.
But they didn't play a game for it. They were just named the number 1 team by the coaches because no coach is going to downgrade a team for being undefeated. And so all the coaches put Florida State at number 1 based on principle, and then Florida State wins the Crystal Football, and they didn't even have to play for it.
That's the most absurd thing I've heard today. And I heard about a TCU SMU basketball trophy that allegedly exists under the TCU trainer's desk. But so that coach's trophy is that's absurd.
Yep,
Like
it used to be
trophy?
it used to be handed out for the BCS because it was partnered with the coaches trophy was partnered with the BCS, so it used to just go to the BCS winner, but now it just goes to whoever wins. So
Well, that's dumb.
Whoever's won when the regular season ends.
yep, at the end of the regular season.
That
Okay.
So there's your fun
Wow.
fact for this college football season.
yeah, fun and disappointing even.
And if you like more fun facts, follow Matt Jennings on
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah, at Matt A. Jennings, and I tweet way too much during football season. That should be what my
Especially
bio
about the
says.
Falcons.
Oh my god,
Dude, Quintorris Lopez-Jones
Stop
is the
it.
greatest
Cut his
receiver
mic. Cut his mic.
in the history of the NFL.
Who dat? Cut off your mic.
Oh, yeah, I forgot both of you guys root for teams in the NFC South.
And they're
It's
all,
a sad
and
life.
Let's be honest, they're all terrible.
Yeah, I was about to say, couldn't the Houston Texans win that division if they were in it?
For sure. No, they would probably win every game in the division.
Oh,
Just
man.
give it to J.J. Watt every play.
Yeesh. All right,
Say
guys.
yeast? Are you still giving
Yeesh. Yeesh. It's a common expression of exasperation, which I'm sure Geoff is feeling right now
We're all
because he
feeling
keeps trying to
about this
wrap up the
podcast.
show, and we won't let him.
Yeah, you guys just keep on talking. I've been trying to wrap this show up for 5 minutes and 48
Are
seconds.
you gonna be late for class? Don't bother we said hi, man.
All right, I'll do that.
I'm Jeffrey_Craig, Craig. Jeff, GeoffRey, because I'm special. My mom hated me. All right. Thanks again to Russell Scott and Janice McCall for letting us use the wonderful KTCU studios here to
And
do this
Adam
wonderful podcast.
Grosbard for coming on.
And
the show.
Adam
Calling
Grosbard
in.
from The Hilltopper.
The Hill Topics.
The Hilltopics.
Topics. Hilltoppers is Western Kentucky.
Another wonderful program.
They beat Vanderbilt in week 1 at Vanderbilt, and it kind of but it wasn't an upset. Western Kentucky was a favorite in that game. They were a 3-point favorite at Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt's awful.
College football is crazy
If
this
it's not
season,
baseball,
guys.
Vanderbilt doesn't care.
But Vanderbilt's in the SEC, though. The SEC is the greatest thing to ever exist.
I'm cutting off the mics now. All right, everybody. We'll be back next Tuesday. Have a wonderful time. Here's some Jimi Hendrix to go out to.